So pleased to welcome in now one of my favorites, Dylan, Double D Vintage Baseball Cards. Dylan, how are you?
Great day. Morning to you. I just woke up like 10 minutes ago, so I'm ready to talk about baseball cards.
Not just baseball
Quite early.
cards. Yeah, we're talking about cheap baseball cards,
Yes.
those that are $10 or less, the ones that are from our childhood and still can kind of be the kind of cards that we collect now. So if I say to you the word cheap, to some people that means a bad thing. But in the sports card, in the baseball card context, what does it mean to you if someone goes, this card was cheap?
So let me get a little. I've always said for my collecting prowess. When I was a kid, when I would open up a 1987 Topps pack, I would pull out the stars. I would find the best guys. The rest, they would go in my bike spokes or they'd sit in a box and I'd never look at them again. I didn't do sets. I didn't do those things. Those cards were still cheap, the ones that I pulled out. As an adult, I always hear a lot of people saying they hate that everybody thinks, cards are too expensive for kids. And that's so not true. Cards are just as cheap today. You can go to Costco and get a box at the store just like we did when we were kids and get Topps cards. And there's cards in those packs that when you open them up, you can pull out and they're magical, even if they're $2. So as an example, I went to Washington State to visit my sister for Christmas. And they had some junk wax packs. And yeah, I call them junk wax packs. And they had a pack of 91 Stadium Club, and I bought like 5 of them or maybe even 10 of them. And I pulled a Jeff Bagwell rookie card and they were $2 each. So you pull this card out, put it in a one touch, and it feels like $1,000,000. So just like in today's packs, you can open up like a pack of Stadium Club and they're cheap. You get a blaster for $25 and you could be a kid and you could see a Sandy Koufax. They're going to pull out somebody else, but a Sandy Koufax batting. And you're like, that card is stunning.
Can you hold that a little closer to the camera?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing like seeing Sandy Koufax up to bat, and cards like this just strike me. And then, I'm okay with saying the rest of the cards, like I don't care about certain players. They're just going to go in a box. I'm never going to look at them again. Should they go in the trash? Doesn't bother me. That might sound horrible to people. I really don't care what people do with their cards. There's always cards in each pack that do belong in a special place. So I have a box right here that sits next to me that has pack pulled cards that I've pulled in the last few years, and I upgrade them into one touches. They're all cards less than $5, and they're like treasures of mine because I pulled them and they have a meaning. They're really cool. So I really do love low dollar cards, but I don't go out of my way to purchase them.
So if I'm hearing you right, when we talk about value, value goes beyond just what the financial cost of it is. Value could be an image, a player, a memory, a feeling. Is that kind of what you're saying?
100%. I mean, I like I'm big on a marriage in my collection. I want my cards to be what I paid for them. Whatever I paid for them, I hope they hold that value forever. I don't really care if they go up. That's that's awesome. But I just would like to be able to sell them one day and recoup that money. So I don't go around buying $2 cards, all the time. But if I'm going to buy packs, that's where I get my cheap fix. And I'll pull the cards out that just hit the spot, regardless of their future value. The value to me is just awesome.
You were mentioning a one touch. There really is something interesting about a one touch. One touch can take any card and make it feel special in ways that a top loader or a penny sleeve, even a slab can't. There's just, in my opinion anyway, there's something about a one touch that highlights the card and says this card means something more.
Yeah, well, I remember your episode about that, and you talked about that. I was on a run listening to you, and I was getting all fired up. Here's my second collection of quote-unquote cheap cards, and a great way for a collector like me who really I like to organize my collection perfectly and fine tune it and have certain players. So I collect Hideki Matsui. And to your point with one touches, I'm a graded card guy, like meaning I want, not because I really care about PSA or SGC or any of that. I love the information on the label. So I have a card here, Hideki Matsui's rookie card. I wouldn't know this if I had this in a one touch, what it was, what year, but I can look on my label that I created that cost me nothing to create. And it says 2003 Upper Deck Classic Portraits, Hideki Matsui, shows the card numbering. It shows how the odds were to pack pull, 1 in every 6. To me, the information on the card really does it. And this card is a cheap card. So I have little players like Hideki Matsui who aren't mega stars that I do buy. So I will buy a $5 card or a $10 card. And it's almost like a practice collection to what I really find, like what I find really passionate about eventually in my Hideki set. I'll start buying, my Aaron Judge cards in those, or my Mike Trouts. It's almost Hideki's collection for me. It's almost like a practice collection for my big purchases. I get a fix to find these rarer cards for way less, and I can enjoy them like they're $1 million because I'll put them, like you say, in your one touch, or I'll put them in my, my Mag Pros with my labels. They feel just as nice as my expensive cards, and it's a great practice for me for the future on, I really like these, so I'm going to collect these with Mike Trout. And he's way more expensive, but once I narrow that down. So I just love doing that type of stuff.
I love that you said that. And it reminds me of, I've heard this a couple of times over the last several years, in which when they're giving advice to newer collectors, they say, before you go and you spend blank amount on a card that could be expensive, find another card from that set of a less valuable player just to see if you like it. And in a way, that almost sounds like what you're saying. Hideki Matsui is almost like your training card, right?
Totally.
Before you want to see if you like it, and then you say, okay, now I do want to go after, say, Mike Trout or somebody else.
Yeah, 100%. I think that there's a lot to be said for practice cards, and I have a lot of practice cards in my collection. There's no reason to go out, if say you love Independence Day, but you don't want to buy, you collect Otani, and you want to try an Independence Day, well, buy a $5 Independence Day of a player that you love to watch and put that in a one touch and hold on to it for a while, see how it makes you feel. And then if it makes you feel good, then you can really spend the big money and go after, Otanis. After you have it in your collection for a long time, make a little mini collection of those. Spend the little amount of money, like we're talking about small cards, practice on these things. There's nothing wrong with it. It's like vintage, buy some Al Kalines before you buy your Mickey Mantle, all that stuff.
So what you're talking about is the utility of an affordable card. And I'll say affordable instead of cheap. But at the same time, I think there's something romantic about a less affordable card, especially the ones that we hold on to for a while, because unless we are a dealer who is selling commons to help people complete their sets, for those cards to stick with us, they're either from our childhood, or they have some sort of a meaning where we ripped with a friend just for fun. Now, almost ironically, a couple months, I ripped a pack of 87 tops with a friend, and I pulled a Conseco. Man, I don't think I ever realized how airbrushed that card was until I pulled it out again. But there's just something romantic about the less affordable cards that, in a way, the more expensive ones, the pricier ones, can't get to, because it has all the other baggage of, is it going to retain its value, right? Is it going to go up? What if it goes down? You don't have any of that stress with the less valuable cards.
Dude, that's a great point, Dave. Like the stress level for me, I did a video recently about my top 25 pickups from last year, and I had a 33 Lou Gehrig Gaudy that I picked up, and to me, I didn't put it near the top of my list because it was very stressful to pick up. So does that tell something? That should tell me something as a collector. Like, do I really want to be stressed out buying cards? No. I mean, there is a point where it's stressful because you're spending a lot of money. But the little cards, assuming you're not buying 150 little cards every day, you can spend, you have $100 budget. You can have the greatest time of your life every month with $100, and you can fill an entire box and fill it with one touches, and the collection will look like $1 billion. And that's the thing about opening packs that I don't open a lot of packs, but when I do, I get very attached to the cards that I pull from those packs, just like you did at that Jose Canseco. When I pulled that Jeff Bagwell, it blew my mind, because when I was a kid, if I could barely afford Stadium Club, I didn't open a lot of those because they were $2 a pack. Everyone complains about pricing now. It's no difference back then. $2 for a pack of cards, or $1 for a pack of cards back then, was like a $5 pack now. When you pull a card out of a pack, it brings it up a level. So opening a blaster for $25 and you get $2 in cards, you might get $1,000 in sentimental value through the lifetime of owning that card. And that to me it's priceless. I have rows of boxes here. Like, let me show another card. I have this Mark Mulder Bowman Chrome, his 2007 gold refractor. This was pulled by my best friend. His name is Danny. While we were spending crazy money opening packs in the 2000s, I bought this from his eBay store when he was selling his cards. Not directly from him. I go, I'm going to buy that card. I love that card. I can't believe you're selling it. It was $5. And I've had it ever since. And I just I pull it out all the time and I look at it, and it means the world to me. I would never sell it. I think there's just something to be said for smaller cards, and you don't need to have a lot of money to collect and play with baseball cards. That's the pure and simple fact of it.
As we start to wind down, I'm thinking about the acquisition story of that card. And I think you never hear anybody say, oh man, I did this wire transfer. It was for 5 figures. It was amazing. And I went through it only 2 minutes. And then the card came, but almost got stolen. But then I went for it, and I contacted FedEx, and finally it arrived. But first I had to fly to, Miami just to get it. And that cost me another $400. Oh, what a card. No, but this is different,
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Dylan, thank you. I think we could probably go on for hours talking about cheap cards, but I promise the listeners we keep things short. So thank you for your time, and thank you for your perspective.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure.